Hello everyone. Today we're going to mount some beadlocks. This package already has two removed because I've built two already. But I thought I'd take this moment real quick and show everyone how I put beadlocks together. I think everybody out there has their own little way of doing this. I just like having fun when I do it. Make a little game out of it. I bet a couple people out in the audience are booing of all the Endura stuff I'm using right now, but I could care less. Endura keeps this hobby going for me. I got black machete type wheels, and I'm putting a blue ring on it with Endura scale hardware. I picked this combo because it is going to be going on the Falcon Vanquish Phoenix. Okay, before I get too much further, let me explain a couple things. I got it locked down with two screws 180 degrees from each other. Getting into this scale hardware, they come with their own little tool to install them. I have had to take the tip to a file because their own tool doesn't fit into their own rings. So you have to file that down a little bit. Your mileage may vary. Maybe they've corrected it already. I don't know. Getting back into the rings, you will see I've put two screws 180 degrees at each other. Now what I'm going to do is one at a time put a screw alternating sides until I chase each side to each other. There's no wrong way to do this necessarily, just as long as you get them in and you get them in fully. Okay, not too much time. I'm already at the halfway point. And as you can see, like I've said, the screws are chasing themselves into the end point, which I think is fun. It's pretty cool. It's like making your own loading bar. Leave a comment down below of how you do your beadlocks. Do you do them start to finish all one direction? Do you skip every other one and then come back and fill in the blanks? Are you some kind of psychopath and do one every third screw and then one every second screw? I'm probably getting screamed at in the comments using this big drill. Only reason I'm using it, number one, is it has a chuck. And number two, it has quite a hardy clutch on it, so I'm not in fear of stripping anything. Okay, last two screws. Doesn't that look pretty? Let's get the screws for the hub put in. That will use a 2.5 bit. Give them a little bit more torque because they're probably just hand tight out of the package. And then I do these like lug nuts and cross them from each other. Like I said, personal preference, just as long as they get installed. All right, there's that. Now comes the fun part. Take these two screws off the back. Take your whole wheel assembly apart. You will be left with the face section the rear locking section, and the locking ring. You will now want to get your foams and your tire prepped. I finally got my set of Nebula RC foams in, so we're going to take those and put them in the Vanquish tires and try them out on the Falcon Phoenix. You crunch your foam up, being careful not to tear it, of course, but folding it up and placing it into the tire and then playing with it to get it feeling right. And once you feel that it's in there without any lumps or creases or anything like that, you can then take your locking ring and shove it inside the tire too and get that centered and feeling good as well. All right, almost home. At this point, I'd like to preface, there's two ways to do this. You can put your face in and then turn it around and put your locking ring in and clamp it down. Or, as I've recently found out, which is a ton easier for me personally, put your back locking ring in first and then put the face in, being sure to be mindful of the bead and make sure the lips of your bead lock are locking in those beads. You can then twist your back ring into the screw holes of the face and then just pinch and put your screw in. I think it was Mr. Crawler Canyon, shout out to him, showed this trick in one of his videos, and it has absolutely revolutionized how I put these wheels together. As you can see perfectly well right here, keep an eye on the beads. Oh, also, before I get way too far away from it in this video, you also want to think about tire direction. Are your tires directional? These are not. Something like Trepadors or Baja Claws will be directional. So you need to think about what side of the vehicle they're going on and if they need to go a certain direction. You can also light the internet on fire by mounting Wrangler MTRs and claiming they're in the right direction. When you're putting these rear screws in, get them started a few threads. Do not lock them down all the way. I'm going to mess with this bead just a little more, and then I'm going to cut to when we are finished. Okay, there's the back of that. The bead looks nice and flush, as well as the front. Usually you know the bead is set right if you squish it a little bit and you get a little bit of air resistance, because you have now effectively airlocked this tire. If you want a little bit better performance of squish out of your tire, you can vent your tires. A lot of people will go out and buy a leather punch to vent their tires by poking a hole in it. I just take my 2mm driver and puncture through a couple spots because I'm poor and don't have room for more tools, but it's as simple as that. I got one more to mount, and we'll put them on the Falcon Phoenix, and then we'll take them out for a run and see how good these Nebula RC 3D printed foams do. I hope this was informative for everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.